Life is life, whether in a cat or a dog or a man. There is no difference there between a cat or a man. The idea of difference is a human conception for a man's own advantage. Sri Aurobindo. It is for this reason I affirm the resolution. Resolved. The United States federal government should ban all testing that requires the use of animals. Contention 1. Animal testing is cruel and unnecessary. The U.S. began blinding and poisoning tests in the 1920s, and these horrific experiments continue today. The Humane Society of the United States estimates that as many as 20% of the U.S. companies test on animals, and about 25 million vertebrate animals are used in research every year in the U.S. Practices that would usually be considered cruelty to animals and punished with fines and jail time can be legally carried out by scientists in laboratories. Almost as outrageous as the cruelty of these tests is the fact that they are outdated and not always as reliable as tests generated with modern biology and biotechnology. It doesn't take much research to see that animal testing has inherent flaws. For one, each species reacts differently to substances, so proving that a particular substance irritates a rabbit's eye does not necessarily mean it will irritate a human eye. Even if a product has blinded an animal, it could still be marketed to you, according to people, for the ethical treatment of animals. Contention 2. Testing on animals is unreliable and unethical. When there is a debate about whether testing drugs on animals is ethical, one of the main arguments proponents use is that it has helped alleviate the suffering of people through medical advances made in testing labs. This is not the case at all. Not only is animal experimentation morally wrong, but many of the failures have actually negatively affected people. One example of this failure of animal testing with a drug thalidomide that happened in the 1960s. According to the organization Animal Friends Croatia, scientists have created thalidomide to help stop morning sickness for pregnant women. Even though it was tested on many species of animals before it could be purchased, it caused an estimate of 10,000 birth defects and thousands of fatal deaths worldwide. Many of the babies suffered from phacomelia, a disease that does not allow their limbs to developly grow. According to research done by Dr. John J. Pippin and Dr. Christy Stoic, advertised drug reactions are responsible for 2.2 million hospitalizations and 106,000 deaths annually. They concluded that many of these instances could have been eliminated with more specific drug testing, with more human-specific drug testing. Of course, I'm not advocating testing on humans. I'm merely pointing out the obvious risks involved when relying on animal experimentation, putting aside the fact that testing chemicals on animals with a different body chemistry is an inherently flawed system. It is also morally wrong. While you can argue all you want about the potential for medical advances, it does not stop there. The tests do not cure any sort of human illness. They just sacrifice helpless animals for the sake of human convenience. Contention 3. Using animals for medical testing is unethical and unnecessary. Millions of animals suffer and die needlessly every year in the United States as they become subjects for medical testing and other horrible experiments. Although most people assume such activity is necessary to advance medical science, in reality it does very little to improve human health. The results of animal testing do not directly transfer to humans, and such results can also be easily manipulated. Most countries around the world, including the United States, have few or inadequate laws to regulate what can be done to research animals. And even though there may be non-animal research methods available, there are no laws that require researchers to use them instead. Using animals for medical testing is both unethical and unnecessary. True medical progress demands adopting nonviolent methods of scientific investigation. Each year, more than 100 million animals, including mice, rats, frogs, dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, monkeys, fish, and birds, are killed in the U.S. laboratories for chemical, drug, food, and cosmetic testing, biology lessons, medical training, and curiosity-driven experimentation. Before their deaths, some are forced to inhale toxic fumes, others are immobilized in restraint devices for hours. Some have holes drilled into their skulls, and others have their skin burned off of their spinal cord and spinal cords crushed. The idea of banning animal testing is not a new concept. Sri Aurobindo, as I mentioned in my opening quote, was an Indian philosopher from the early 20th century who realized that animal testing is immoral and unnecessary. I therefore strongly urge a prop ballot in this round. Thank you.